David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, more than 1,000 flights canceled across the country. Fallout from the government shutdown expected to get worse. The FAA forcing airlines to cut flights at 40 of America's busiest airports. From Atlanta to New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, 4-hour delays reported in Washington, D.C. Passengers scrambling to rebook flights. The shutdown raising safety concerns amid the critical shortage of thousands of air traffic controllers. The shutdown, day 38, the longest in history. Democrats tonight proposing a deal to reopen the government and extend Obamacare subsidies. Republicans calling it a non-starter. And 24 hours after a judge ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP food benefits for more than 40 million Americans, tonight an announcement from the USDA. And what a court just ruled moments ago. The horrific crash of that UPS plane in Louisville, Kentucky. What we're now learning about the final seconds in the cockpit. The alarm sounding as the crew struggled to regain control of the plane. New reporting on the deadly shooting of a house cleaner. A wife and mother of 4 shot through the front door when she mistakenly went to the wrong home. Will criminal charges be filed? Former NFL star Antonio Brown back in the U.S. and behind bars, facing a charge of attempted murder. Brown taken into custody overseas after posting videos of a high-end hotel and luxury cars. President Trump issuing new pardons. Former baseball great Darryl Strawberry for his tax evasion conviction, and a former Tennessee Republican lawmaker convicted of corruption and sentenced to prison less than 2 months ago. The mother of a missing 9-year-old girl arrested in an unrelated investigation. New surveillance video showing mother and daughter wearing wigs just days before the young girl was last seen. Tonight, millions bracing for the first Arctic blast of the season. Temperatures plunging between the teens and mid-30s. And Mega Millions closing in on $1 billion. Tonight's jackpot and where it stands now.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Whit Johnson in for David tonight. We begin with the axe falling on more than 1,000 flights across America. Delta, United, American, and Southwest among the airlines forced to cancel flights due to the strain on air traffic controllers during the government shutdown. The FAA ordering airlines to reduce flights by up to 10% in the top 40 busiest markets. At least 4-hour delays in Washington, D.C. today. Many passengers now racing to rebook flights for this weekend and next week. Thousands of air traffic controllers and TSA agents working without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warning the next step may be to close airspace over parts of the country. ABC's Stephanie Ramos leads us off from Newark Airport.
Tonight, a travel headache for passengers as airlines canceled more than 1,000 flights to ease pressure on the air traffic control system, triggering long lines and nearly 5,000 delays.
Total headache, disaster, nightmare.
Actually, I'm freaked out because I'm going to miss a flight, and it's a family reunion in Florida, and it will be really horrible.
Airlines slashed flights at 40 major airports under an emergency order from the FAA. Those cancellations set to more than double to 10% of daily flights in the coming days.
So I had a flight this morning.
Karen Soika's flight was rebooked, but she couldn't make it from Newark to JFK in time.
Are you ready for this? They rebooked me at a JFK an hour earlier with a 11-hour layover in some place called Port of Spain. Crazy, crazy.
President Trump's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy insists the drastic cuts are needed to relieve pressure as air traffic controllers work without pay and more call out sick.
The controller seems more stressed. Those reports from pilots have gone up. There's been an increase in loss of separation. There's safe distances. We keep airplanes apart in the sky. Those numbers have gone up.
Tonight, Duffy is defending the decision to cut air traffic.
Some people have second-guessed what we've done. We have not politicized the airspace. We've been working incredibly hard to make sure that there's minimal disruption to the best of our ability and still keep it safe.
With the holiday rush right around the corner, many passengers are worried air travel will only get worse and just want this shutdown over.
It's just absolutely ludicrous. They have to do something. I mean, with the holidays coming, with Thanksgiving, there's no end in sight.
The number of canceled flights, Whit, could be higher than expected. Passengers, though, will be eligible for refunds if their flight is canceled and they choose not to fly. Major airlines are also waiving change fees for passengers if they're looking to switch their flights. Whit.
And we're seeing that growing frustration. Stephanie, thank you. And late today, Senate Democrats floating an offer to end the government shutdown, but Republicans so far rejecting the plan, extending the stalemate. The Trump administration also pushing back against a judge's order to fully fund SNAP benefits immediately for more than 40 million Americans as lines grow at food banks across the U.S. The USDA making an announcement and what a court just ruled moments ago. ABC's Rachel Scott on the Hill tonight.
Tonight, on day 38 of the longest government shutdown in American history, Senate Democrats putting an offer on the table.
Democrats are offering a very simple compromise.
Democrats say they will vote to reopen the government if Republicans agree to extend Obamacare subsidies for 1 year, so healthcare insurance premiums won't skyrocket for more than 20 million Americans.
Now, the ball is in the Republicans' court. We need Republicans to just say yes.
But tonight, Republicans call Schumer's offer a non-starter.
I am tired of political games. I really am.
Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of federal workers missing one paycheck after another, and 42 million recipients of food benefits, known as SNAP, worried about going hungry.
Thanksgiving is coming up. I don't know. I'm just praying.
In Cleveland, Ohio, 75-year-old Diane Howard receives just $63 a month from SNAP, but she makes that money stretch. $3 buys her 4 cans of corn at a discount grocery store or 2 boxes of spaghetti. Without it, she doesn't know what she'll do.
I'm trying to hold on to God's hands and His grace and His mercy, but it's so hard.
The Trump administration had refused to dip into emergency funds to pay out full SNAP benefits, waging a legal battle in court. But overnight, a federal judge ordering them to pay up. And late today, the Department of Agriculture saying they will comply with the judge's order.
The Trump administration tried to appeal that ruling, but just moments ago, we learned it was rejected by a federal appeals court. And tonight, we are learning that SNAP benefits have been fully funded in at least 9 states. Whit.
And as you pointed out, no end in sight on this shutdown. Rachel Scott for us. We appreciate it. We do move on now to the new clues emerging in that fiery crash of a UPS plane in Louisville, Kentucky. The final seconds in the cockpit, the alarm sounding as the crew struggled to regain control of the plane. As we learn more tonight about the victims, including a grandfather and granddaughter who lost their lives. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Oh my God! Tonight, after one of the worst cargo plane crashes in history, we're learning more about the crew's final moments from the plane's cockpit voice recorder.
About 37 seconds after the crew called for takeoff thrust, a repeating bell was heard, which persisted until the end of the recording 25 seconds later.
NTSB board member Todd Inman says as that alarm blared in those final 25 seconds, the crew tried in vain to control the aircraft.
3 full days after this crash, and you can see the scene still blocked off by authorities. Multiple federal agencies still on site here, trying their best to figure out exactly what happened.
Crews searching the half-mile path of destruction, still putting out spot fires as the community honors the victims. UPS flight crew members Captain Richard Wartenberg, First Officer Lee Truitt, and International Relief Officer Captain Dana Diamond. And Luis Nesfedon, the father of 4, was at the scrapyard with one of his 3 grandchildren, 3-year-old Kimberly Asa, when that plane tragically ended their lives.
And Whit, as this investigation continues tonight, the first class action lawsuit has been filed against UPS, General Electric, and Boeing on behalf of the businesses and families affected by this deadly crash. Whit.
And we are thinking about those families tonight. Matt Rivers for us. Now to the new reporting on the deadly shooting of a house cleaner in Indiana. The wife and mother of 4 shot through the front door when she mistakenly went to the wrong home. Tonight, prosecutors weighing whether to file charges. Here's ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, a family is demanding justice, and prosecutors are weighing charges after the horrific shooting death of a woman who showed up to clean the wrong house. Police say Maria Florinda Rios Perez de Velasquez, a mother of 4, arrived at the wrong address in Whitestown, Indiana, just before 7 Wednesday morning. Authorities say the homeowner shot her through the front door. She died in the arms of her husband. I never thought it was a shot, her husband says. I realized when my wife took 2 steps back. She looked like she'd been hit in the head. She fell into my arms, and I saw the blood everywhere. Police have not identified the shooter. Indiana has a strong stand-your-ground law that allows deadly force when there's a reasonable belief it would prevent a home invasion. But neighbors aren't so sure it applies here.
It shouldn't have happened, you know. Don't shoot first, ask questions later.
I talked to the prosecutor today, Whit. He conceded he has a difficult decision to make. He's weighing whether that homeowner was reasonable in using deadly force, believing the cleaner could have been an intruder. Whit?
Just an awful case. Aaron Katersky, thank you. Next tonight, President Trump issuing new pardons. Former baseball great Darryl Strawberry for his tax evasion conviction and a former Tennessee Republican lawmaker guilty of corruption. Let's get right to Mary Bruce at the White House. Mary, what can you tell us?
Well, Whit, President Trump has pardoned baseball legend Darryl Strawberry after he pleaded guilty to tax evasion charges 3 decades ago. The White House saying the 4-time World Series champ for the Mets and Yankees served time and paid back taxes, also noting his Christian faith and sobriety. The president is also pardoning the former Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives, Republican Glenn Quesada, just weeks after he was sentenced to prison on public corruption charges. Quesada now just the latest in a string of elected officials brought up on corruption charges to receive clemency from Trump or see their cases dismissed, including former Congressman George Santos and New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Whit.
All right, Mary Bruce, our thanks to you tonight. Now to former NFL star Antonio Brown, arrested overseas and returned to the U.S. to face a charge of attempted murder. He's accused of opening fire and wounding a man after a fight outside a celebrity boxing event in Miami. ABC's Victor Oquendo reports.
Tonight, former NFL star Antonio Brown, now behind bars in New Jersey, awaiting extradition to Miami on an attempted murder charge. Overnight, authorities saying U.S. Marshals took Brown into custody in Dubai, ending a months-long manhunt.
He was at Dubai. We knew this because of his videos.
Brown recently posting this video at a hotel in Dubai as part of a brand partnership with a crypto gambling platform. Video showing the moment back in May when police say Brown was armed with a gun and chased after a man he just fought with outside a boxing event and opened fire. The man suffering a graze wound in the neck. A day after that shooting, Brown claimed self-defense, saying, "Regarding the boxing event that happened last night, I was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. I will be talking to my legal counsel and attorneys on pressing charges on the individuals that jumped me." Authorities say Brown then left the country.
Brown retired in 2024, his NFL career largely overshadowed by his legal troubles. If convicted, a second-degree attempted murder charge carries a maximum 15-year prison sentence in Florida. Whit.
All right, Victor, thank you for that. Now to a case that's made national headlines. The mother of a missing 9-year-old girl is now under arrest in Santa Barbara County, California. Authorities say it's not directly related to the search for her daughter, but the sheriff also releasing new surveillance video showing the two wearing wigs at a rental car agency just 2 days before her daughter was last seen. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
Tonight, nearly a month after authorities began a frantic multi-state search for missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard, last pictured in this surveillance video appearing to be wearing a wig. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office arresting her mother on charges indirectly related to her daughter's disappearance. The arrest comes just a day after authorities released that video showing the 9-year-old along with her mother, Ashley, renting a car on October 7th. Authorities say the pair then drove nearly 1,500 miles to Nebraska and then turned around. At one point, Ashley even changing the rental car's license plates.
The indications are that the license plate was switched to avoid detection. We don't have any other plausible reason for why Ashley would have switched the plates.
Police say the mother returned the rental car on October 10th with the original plates back on, but without Melodee.
Investigators tell me that so far, Ashley, the mother, has been uncooperative. She's being held on a $100,000 bail. And authorities say at this point, their chief goal is to find Melodee safe, and they're asking the public for help with.
Yeah, so many desperate for answers. Matt Gutman, thank you. Tonight, millions are bracing for a drastic change in temperature. A cold blast from the Midwest to the Deep South to the Northeast. Temperatures between the teens and mid-30s. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our New York station WABC. Lee, what can we expect?
We begin with some rough weather in Nashville tonight. There's a tornado watch, parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, into parts of Alabama. That's still 10 o'clock. Now to the winter wake-up call in the east. It's actually a really mild weekend, but Arctic air comes in on Monday and Tuesday, and we could have some record cold in the deep south. Look at 30s in New York and 20s in Chicago. We're also talking about winds that'll make it feel like teens from the Great Lakes into the interior northeast and down into the deep south. It'll feel like 20s. There's snow, too. We're talking about some snow from Chicago to the Ohio Valley as we go from Sunday into Monday, maybe a few inches, and then on to Syracuse and Buffalo with lake effect snow on Tuesday. We warm up after that. Whit.
All right, we'll brace for that. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. When we come back, the death of a giant in the world of science. And more trouble for former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez. The decision over his TV job roughly a month after an alleged back alley fight that left him fighting for his life. And the world's tallest teenager making history again, taken to court for his first college basketball game, all 7'9" of him. Next tonight, former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez now out of a job weeks after a violent altercation in Indianapolis. Fox Sports announcing Sanchez is no longer an analyst at the network. Prosecutors say last month Sanchez was stabbed in the chest after attacking a truck driver outside a hotel. He faces a felony battery charge and remains free on bond. The Farmer's Almanac is publishing its last edition after a 208-year run. Gardeners and farmers have relied on the Almanac since 1818. The page is filled with weather predictions, tips for gardening and fishing, as well as bits of wisdom, trivia, and folklore. The 2026 edition, which is out now, is its last. The book not to be confused with the old Farmer's Almanac, which remains in production. When we come back, the world's tallest teenager takes to the college basketball court. To the index now, a passing to note tonight. He was a pioneer of modern biology. James Watson has died. Watson was one of the scientists who discovered the double-helix shape of the DNA molecule. The breakthrough earning him and his team a Nobel Prize in 1962. Watson's family revealing he died in hospice care after a brief illness. Watson was 97. The world's tallest teenager now taking his talents to the hardwood. 19-year-old Olivier Rioux clocks in at 7 feet 9 inches. He made his big debut on the college basketball court. He suited up with the Florida Gators as a center on Thursday. While he did not get his hands on the ball, the Gators did go on to defeat North Florida 104-64. Well, a fortune is on the line for tonight's massive Mega Millions drawing. $843 million with a $392 million cash option. The grand prize is now the 8th largest prize in Mega Millions history. Good luck. Still ahead, America Strong. One teacher offering a helping hand like no other, the special gift for one of his students. Finally tonight, America Strong, the teacher and the life-changing gift. Tonight in Glasgow, Kentucky, south of Louisville, a remarkable gift from a teacher to a student in need. 9-year-old Jackson Farmer in the 4th grade was born without his right hand, but his family tells us he's always been determined to not let life's obstacles get in the way. Always with a smile on his face and a positive attitude. Jackson never quite finding the right prosthetic hand, one that would help him hold things and one insurance would cover. It's something his teacher at Red Cross Elementary, Mr. Scott Johnson, noticed too. So Mr. Johnson got to work. With the okay from Jackson's family, he started researching online and reaching out to the prosthetic community, developing a prototype. And incredibly, after some 25 hours to print on the school's 3D printer, 4 hours to assemble, and just $20 worth of materials, Mr. Johnson was ready to surprise Jackson with his new hand. Tonight, Jackson telling us he loves it.
I think that it helped me a lot whenever like just throughout the day. It just helps me. I want to show you how to put on my hand.
Proudly showing us how he puts it on. Using it to hold a photo of him with Mr. Johnson. Showing us he can now pick up a baseball, a cup, a bottle. Mr. Johnson explaining how it works.
This fishing line runs through the hand and it ties at the end of each one of these fingertips. When Jackson flexes his wrist down, he's able to close the hand. And when he relaxes his wrist, he's able to open it. No batteries, no chargers, just the muscular power of this awesome dude and that killer smile.
Tonight, their message to all of those who see a need and help.
We love helping people, and we hope that you find great ways to be awesome too. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Mr. Johnson and Jackson, definitely America strong. They sure are. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.